teachers have to get this training done, and they have to, be on the lookout for students.
That's Parkland school shooting survivor, Isabella Benjamia. You might remember her from our episode in March about how Florida school employees have been slow to get training that started being required by law after the shooting at Benjamia's school. Training on how to identify troubled students before it's too late. Now that episode has changed state law.
It will hopefully prevent more of these tragedies from happening.
Let's see what's brewing. Hey, I'm Jenna Bourne, and I'm an investigative reporter at 10 Tampa Bay. If you're new here, welcome to our caffeine-fueled deep dive into issues that matter to you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So I know as journalists, we're not supposed to admit that we have feelings, but spoiler alert, journalists are human and we have feelings all the time. And I have a feeling right now, and that feeling is relief. I am relieved that our What's Brewing episode in March has now led to a change in state law that's going to help keep kids safer at school. If you missed that episode, here's a quick recap. But first, a content warning. We're about to talk about gun violence, so if that is not something you're okay with hearing about right now, this is your heads up.
911, what's your emergency?
Hello, we're at Stoneman Douglas High School, and I think there's a shooter.
A former student with a history of mental illness killed 17 people at Isabella Benjamia's high school on Valentine's Day, 2018.
When we left, the officers tried telling us not to look down, not to look around us, but it was kind of impossible. And so I saw blood, all these bodies. They're like, just run, just leave. And I as a 14-year-old, I just started running. I feel like I was in a horror movie.
The next month, Florida lawmakers passed new school safety requirements in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. That law included a section requiring all school employees to get youth mental health awareness and assistance training. The training is designed to teach school employees how to identify the signs of emotional disturbance, mental illness, and substance abuse. It also teaches those employees how to engage with troubled students and connect them to help. But the law requiring that training didn't include a deadline for school employees to actually get it done, so 4 years later, many of them still hadn't done it. We uncovered that as of January 2022, fewer than half the employees at schools here in the Tampa Bay area had gotten that training.
I just want to say thank you for bringing this to our attention. Without this investigation, we want to be aware of the non-compliance that's happening in our school districts.
After seeing what we found, Florida lawmakers added an amendment to an existing school safety bill that created a deadline. Now, every school district in the state will be required to notify the Florida Department of Education that at least 80% of school employees have gotten the mental health training by July 1st, 2023. And every year after that. And the first person I texted when I found out that the governor had signed that bill into law this week was Isabella Benjamia.
I think it's awesome, what's happening and what you were able to accomplish.
Well, what we were able to accomplish, because that story wouldn't have had the impact that it did without your voice in it.
True, yeah, thank you.
How do you think that could make schools safer?
I think it can definitely prevent future shootings. I think now teachers are gonna have the right knowledge to help a student out, to know the signs of a disturbed student that could potentially do something bad.
After the school shooting in Uvalde, I was thinking about you. How have you been doing since then?
Yeah, it was hard. I started crying. I started bawling my eyes out because I was 14 when my shooting happened, and these kids are 10. These kids were 10 when they had to experience this trauma that will live with them forever. I'm just very happy that this law was passed, and I hope that the government continues to pass these kinds of laws and continues to try to make a change for shootings to stop happening anywhere. And I think it's a step in the right direction, so it's amazing. I think we still have a lot to improve. Because, obviously these trainings are important, but I feel like the main thing is gun regulation. There's a lot of room for improvement still, but I think this is a great step in the right direction.
This is why investigative journalists do what we do, to expose problems so they can get fixed. I know I've said this before in a previous episode, but sometimes it feels like we're just shouting problems and solutions into a black hole. So it's a relief when an investigation does create change. Are you still studying to be a journalist?
Yeah, I am.
That's awesome. What is, what is seeing the impact that this story has had? How does that make you feel as somebody who's studying to be a journalist?
That makes me feel very lucky to be studying this, because it's obviously a very hard profession, a hard career where people are gonna judge you and tell you all sorts of things. But at the end, we do this because, to impact people, to make a change. I just feel very lucky to be studying this, and I can't wait to also make this kind of an impact in the future.
That's going to be you someday, no question.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thanks for watching What's Brewing. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and I'll see you next time.